Hey. Is your phone going crazy? Joe, Joe Harris, you're right. Check it out. Matt Richardson, evening.
Give Joe a shout out.
Hey, Joe. Joe Harris. Joe's always here. Hey guys, welcome to Sober Talk. You're here because you want to get sober, you need to get sober, or perhaps you're just sober curious. Doesn't matter what the reason is, I'm glad you're here. So how do you know if you have a drug or alcohol problem? It's real easy if it causes problems. I got a special guest in the studio. Came down last night, Brian Biggerstaff. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How you?
I'm well. I'm well. I can't believe that you made the trip, and I'm so happy that you
Oh,
did.
I'm glad I made it.
We got some people here, brother. Check it out. We got a lot of people here. Let's see here. We got Cat's here, Joel Southwick, Ted Watson, Dale Horton. Let people get here for a second, and we will. I want to. We had lunch today. And you was telling me a story, so oh my gosh, save it for the show. Hey, real quick, we do have an issue. I gotta go do this real quick, and Joe, tell the folks about yourself while I go fix something over there on the board. So this is what what we. I was bragging. I was telling Joe things are great. I can't believe nothing's going wrong, and something's going wrong. So 1 second, guys. 1 second. Yep, I sure did. Forgot to do it. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I'm back. I'm back. Ah. Is it working? There it is. It's working. Hey guys, real quick. Tonight's show was brought to you by KYSBestHemp.com. That's KYSBestHemp.com, and they're making the show possible. And the money I get from that, I got to take uh, Brian out for lunch today.
Good lunch.
It was Tumbleweed Restaurants, and you like Tumbleweed, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So let's get right to it. So where do you want to start? Because you have one. You've been sober this time 7 months, 8 months.
Almost 8 months now.
All right, almost 8 months. And tell us about how did it happen?
Well, where it began was went through a divorce in 2015,
Okay.
and that's when I really started drinking like I did. When it got bad, I had I guess was a social drinker before that, but the divorce really threw me for a loop, and it put me to where I was drinking every day.
Oh.
And it got to where I would call myself a functioning alcoholic at that point. But as time went on, it just got worse and worse. And it just got to the point to where I was putting alcohol above everything else.
Did it did it cause problems? I mean, like family life and kids and such like that.
Oh, yes. And, you know, up until Christmas Day, I had not spoke with my daughter for 8 months because of just constantly telling her I wasn't going to drink no more. I was done. And she was tired of it. She was done with
She
it.
didn't believe you, huh?
She didn't believe it.
That's happened to me. You asked me today if my family was if they were happy about it. I said I think they're cautiously optimistic. I think they're like, okay, how long is it gonna last this time? And finally you just gotta say, you know what, I gotta get help. You know, from some people who know what they're doing, because I tried it on my own, and that I'm working the steps. Not as good as you are, but so let's. You were telling me today, and someone emailed me. I think Doug said that you really do work the steps.
Yes.
Well, that's great. That's good. And that's the first time. This is the first. A lot of people on the show they do like maybe rational recovery or church or addiction therapy or something. But once you stop drinking, you got to do maintenance. You got to keep on
Well,
not fixing yourself.
This is the way I explain it to people that don't understand our disease is a diabetic has to maintain their diabetes every single day. They have to work on it.
Right.
So that's what I have to do also. I have to take and work on my disease every single day. And that's working the steps, working the program, doing meetings,
Hmm.
doing something every day.
So tell me about the time you rock bottom, and you said that you involved an Uber in a bar. It was good. You guys, this is so bad to laugh at. But I'm like, he was telling me today at lunch, I'm like, don't stop. This is great. I want to be able to ask you this on the air. We got as far. You're at a bar, and someone called an Uber for you.
So that was my first rock bottom.
Okay.
All right. So I'm at a bar. I'm drinking. I'm drinking heavily,
Okay.
and I don't really remember anything else after that except I was in jail. Um, but when I finally put pieces together, was at the bar they called me an Uber.
Okay.
Uber had dropped me off at the wrong house,
Oh boy.
so I'd went in.
It's not funny. It's not funny. We all have our rock bottoms. All right, go ahead. So the Uber dropped you off the wrong house.
At the wrong house. I went around back, went into the washroom. Police was called. They found me in the washroom.
Were the owners home?
Yes.
Wow. So you thought you were going to your house,
I thought I was going to my house.
and was it even in the same proximity of your house? Was it close to your house?
Yeah, it was close to my house.
Oh my word! Did they freak out, the owners?
Oh yes, the owners freaked out. They found me when the police was already there because
Someone saw you or
I was
something.
I was banging on the front door and then went around back.
Oh.
So the police was called. So
That's awful.
I go in front of a judge at night.
That night?
That night, thinking that I'm gonna go home, bail.
Right, right.
So the judge told me he couldn't set bail for that.
Wow.
Burglary third degree.
And you said third degree is worse than first degree?
Yes.
I don't know anything about that, but that's interesting.
Um, so I sat in jail for 11 days, and when I finally got bail set, I had to agree to wear ankle monitor and a other monitor on my leg for alcohol monitoring. So I was on house arrest and alcohol monitoring for 4 months. So naturally, I wasn't drinking then.
So, what about your work? Did they freak out, or
Work was very understanding, and
isn't it amazing how it seems like when like we have an acquaintance who's on the show, who's seeking help, and he wanted to go to rehab, and he's worried about his work, and he went and told his work, and I know we support you.
well, most companies now recognize this as a disease.
Okay.
So they're willing to let you go on short-term medical
Okay.
to seek treatment because they want to see you healthy. They don't want you in there hurting yourself or hurting others.
So, you're with an ankle bracelet for 4 months.
4 months.
4 months. When did you go to treatment after that?
No,
No. Okay.
no. So when the ankle monitor come off, alcohol monitor come off, I went back to drinking.
Shut up.
Yes.
You spent 11 days in jail, third degree burglary, 4 months at home with the ankle bracelet. And as soon as it went off, you went right to the liquor store.
Yes.
Huh.
And luckily, I went through a program that expunged that.
Okay.
So
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
there in South Carolina, they have a program that you do service, you do some counseling, you pay some restitution,
Okay.
and they'll expunge the charge. And when I was sitting at home for 4 months, I done said I'm never drinking again. I'm not putting myself through this again. But as I sat there at home thinking about it, on social media, everybody's out having a good time. Start getting depressed, and that's the first thing I went and done when everything come off.
Wow. What? So how long did that happen? How long did that stick?
How long did what stick?
When you went out, you went to the liquor store and you started drinking. How long did you drink before stopping again?
Oh,
Did I miss that?
no, I mean, when you say rock bottom, for me, rock bottom's death because
Yeah.
I always say, I hit rock bottom. I thought I'd hit rock bottom then. Well, then I have another relapse and hit another rock bottom. So rock bottom was going to eventually be death for me.
Okay. So when did you? That's when you went into rehab.
Uh, a
I'm
few
sorry.
months,
I'm trying to piece it together. 4 months
well,
home incarceration.
August, I'd started drinking again, and I mean it was heavier than it was before.
It's progressive. The
Yes.
disease is progressive. Yeah.
So I didn't look at this as a disease then. I looked at it as it's a choice. And I was one of those that would argue with you. No, you're making a choice to drink.
Okay.
So it had got to the point to where I needed to do something and I couldn't stop on my own. So I decided to go to detox. And in my mind, detox was going to fix me. 5 days detox, I won't be drinking. I'm good to go.
Okay. So you mean your body got over the withdrawal of
Right.
the alcohol? So
But see, my mind wasn't processing that I sat there for 4 months not drinking at home.
okay.
So when I went to detox, I realized that's not going to fix me. So I took
So detox is not the same as detox is not the same as like rehab.
no detox is basically
Drying out. You're
drying out.
Okay. Okay.
They're going to give you medication to keep you from having seizures if you
Yeah.
have seizures from coming off alcohol.
And it's so important. I tell everyone this: if you want to stop drinking, please, no one on the show is. We're not doctors, and we just, have to say, go to a doctor. Say, hey, don't lie. Here's how much I'm drinking.
Yes.
And he's gonna go, no, you need to be maybe professional. You got to at least detox professionally.
Most detoxes will tell you, are you drinking heavily? And they'll tell you not to stop drinking until you come there.
Really?
Yes. Because
Wow.
they don't want you to have a seizure. And the alcohol's keeping you from having a seizure.
God, isn't it amazing how that works?
It is.
The one thing that's killing you is also what I mean. You get caught in it. Like I can't stop, but if I keep on, I'm going to die. But if I stop, I feel like I'm going to die.
Right. So when I was in detox, I realized that detox ain't going to fix me. So I'm going to go to 30-day rehab.
Okay.
So in my mind, that was going to fix me. I'll be done then.
Okay.
So I realized in rehab, this is something I'm going to have to deal with the rest of my life. And when
You're
I left,
always going to take insulin like you're a diabetic.
exactly. And, for me, my insulin is working the steps, going to meetings. But, so when I left rehab, I done everything wrong. I didn't get a sponsor,
Okay.
didn't work steps, met someone in detox,
What do people do? I keep on hearing rehab relationship,
rehab romance.
rehab romance.
Well, I think we was talking a little bit about that today. I think somebody's just reaching out for something. They need something.
Just something to fill that void. Alcohol or drugs or whatever. Were you ever a drugger or just mainly alcohol?
Alcohol.
Okay.
Um, so I left October 20th last year,
Okay.
or the year before last now. But I was going to meetings for a little while, but I stopped going to meetings. So when this relationship fell through, I had nothing else to fall back on. I didn't have a program or anything. So I went back to the only thing I know, and that was drinking. This rock bottom here for me was earlier this year, going to 4 different detoxes, go to detox, come home, start drinking again. Go to detox, come home, start drinking again.
Wow. Just curious. The romance. Okay.
I don't have any contact with her.
Okay. No, that's cool. I was just curious. Rick Green says, never try to detox alone. Yeah, definitely. I would love to come on and tell my story, but it's a long one. Well, Rick Green, we have all kinds of time. We'll have you come on one day. Have you come in studio or have you call in or something. I want to call my friend here who's he's very professional and versed in this.
Mr. Sweeney.
Mr. Sweeney, that's right. James Sweeney. James owns a.
Yellow.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. For some reason, you're coming out of only one ear, and I don't know what it was ringing in one ear. It's really bizarre. So in studio, I don't know if you're watching. We got this is James Sweeney on the phone. James owns RAC. That's the Robert Alexander Center in Mount Washington, Kentucky, and works on some other ones. And all. But he was right now. Our guest was saying that he went to detox 4 times. Was it
4 times this year.
4 times this year? Get out
Yeah.
detox and just come and just drink. And he finally went to a facility in South Carolina
Yes.
for 30 days.
Yes. The
Yeah.
same facility I went to earlier the previous year.
In the previous you were fixed and you started drinking again. How
Well,
long did you make it after the facility?
being honest now,
Uh-huh.
couple months,
Oh, that's
and I wasn't drinking like I was, but I was sneaking it. I was at home by myself.
yeah,
Nobody hold me accountable.
Yeah.
So I was holding it together for a little while.
but now this time, so this is where I want James to step in. James, do you see this? Do you see people in and out and just not working anything after, not working on themselves after rehab?
Yeah, absolutely. It says in the I'm a 12-step recovery guy, as many of y'all know, and it says in the big book, over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. So that means we go remove the alcohol, remove the toxins from our body. And what it comes down to is, over a period of years, I drank and used for over 15 years. I can't believe the delusion that I can erase 15 years of chaos and behavior in 1 week, sitting in a detox, right? We can take the alcohol. Sorry, guys, my daughters are.
No, it's okay.
thought it
It's
was time
okay.
for a dance party.
This is on Facebook,
So-
man. It's not CNN.
Yeah. Oh, when they hear me talking, they think it's party time. They come running.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so the idea that it really comes down, guys, to our behavior, right? Our behaviors and how we feel leads us to drinking. It leads me to.
Yeah.
And if you don't address those behaviors and how you act and how you respond to situations, alcohol became my solution, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alcohol was my solution to those problems. I don't like dealing with my girlfriend or my kids or my job, whatever that is. And over a period of 15 years, I programmed my brain to think, oh, take a drink of alcohol and I could ignore this for a little while. And the idea that you will erase that in a matter of a few days or even a few months is delusional.
Wow. Wow, that puts it in and that's what, I'm not going to lie, me personally, I'm kind of thinking that, oh, maybe I don't have a problem. No, I got a problem, and as soon as I take that first sip, the race is on, man.
Yeah.
I'm back on. I'm not getting anything done.
Hour.
Wife's going to leave me. Kids are going to be disappointed. It's just going to be bad.
Right. If you're a real alcoholic like me, our bodies process alcohol differently. That's why it's called a disease. A disease is a disorder of function in a plant or an animal. My body does not process alcohol the same as my father's, for example. He can drink whiskey at the family reunion, and he gets up and goes to work the next day and pays his bills and takes care of all of his business, right?
Right.
Me, once I put 1 sip of alcohol, drink a beer, I'm sorry, I forget the gentleman's name that's on with you right now. I held it together for a little.
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking like I used to, but it eventually escalated to that. Again, over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We all, at least I did, go out and try that one more time. I won't drink whiskey. I'll just drink beer. Or I won't, with drug addicts, I'm not taking heroin. I'm just going to take a couple of pain pills, right? And over any considerable period, that gets worse. And that's why we see this over and over again, people coming back into detox. It also says in the big book, there was always one more attempt and one more failure. I attempt to live life like I used to, and I can't do that anymore.
Wow. You accountable, because if it's just yourself, you will cheat on yourself because you don't.
100%.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like when you were at home drinking or whatever. That's Well, brother, thanks for picking up.
You know, hey Tom, if you don't mind, if I may, can I elaborate on what she just said right there?
Yeah, dude,
Just a little bit.
anything you want, go ahead.
Sure. I had this discussion with some of the patients at my facility today, and I explained it to them, and I can explain it to you all the same way. Basically, think about this, Tom. If you were into motorcycles or hot rods, for example, okay, you're not going to buy a motorcycle and then ride it one time and then stick it in your driveway and just let it sit there, right? You're going to ride it every day. You're going to find other people that ride motorcycles. You're going to go to all the bike rallies. You're going to go to all the places where they hang out with the hot women. You're going to, that's something you really wanted, and you're going to ingrain yourself in that community and at every opportunity. For some reason or another, when it comes to the recovery community, people try to drive it once and park it in the driveway. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, yeah. Wow,
That's
wow.
good.
That's real good. Whew,
I mean, yeah, so thanks for having me on, guys. Tom, I'm sure I'll see you soon. And Brian, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Yeah, I mean he's spot on there.
And he works with it every single day, and he's in recovery himself. So, what a, and God, I really was telling someone today. I have such a passion. I really hope that one day my career is helping people, my business. Because I'm getting older, I just don't want to do the pranks and stuff. All the comedy stuff and touring and the occupational hazards. Carrie told me, said, you got a gig at the comedy club here, and later. And first thing I'm like, geez, that's 3 nights, 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. People are gonna be sending me shots. People are gonna, and I'm like, I won't do them.
Right.
The bartender will know to send. It's funny. It's talking about occupational hazard. The same club years and years ago, I told the bartender, I said, look, don't let me drink. Don't let me get drunk. Please don't. And she was trying to get me drunk on stage and thought it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. It wasn't hilarious or funny at all. And hey, if you guys are just joining, if you have questions, you can email me sobertalklive@gmail.com, sobertalklive@gmail.com. Send me your phone number and I will call you. And if anybody has any having any, just put your comments in the thing. And let me call Daryl, because he's saying that we were having a real quick, and we'll get back to your story. Man, something's going on with the phone.
I can only hear it in one ear.
I know, it's pretty weird, isn't it?
Oh,
Hey, buddy. Yeah, sorry about that. We're at the mercy of Facebook. People, you texted me and said it was freezing up, but thanks for the heads up. Have you been listening to Brian? What do you think about Brian, our guest? And that, have you ever done anything like that?
Really good.
And did you go?
I just got in a little late,
Okay.
but I didn't really hear. I was listening to some of it, but I didn't catch it all.
Well, cool. The deal that did you go to rehab?
Yes, I did.
And that was like how many years ago?
Oh, back in '87.
And were you one and done, or did you go multiple times?
I went once, yeah.
One and done. And so
Yep, and I did it on my own. I wanted to go, and I wanted to get better.
yeah. Brian, did you go on your own this time, or was it court appointed or anything?
No, I went on my own both times. I was telling you about going. I've actually been to rehab 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Once for 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, tell me about that again.
Okay. So earlier this year, I was in and out of detoxes,
Uh-huh.
and I had a friend drove up from Charleston
Okay.
that took me down to detox at MUSC, and don't really remember anything about being in detox.
Were you drunk the whole time you were in there?
I was drunk and then out of it from the medicine they was giving me. So she picked me up, took me to Waypoint. I was there for 2 days. I wasn't ready to get sober.
Right.
And so I left she had my car keys, and she lived in Charleston. I live in Spartanburg, 3 hours away. So I spent $150 on a cab from Orange, and then spent over $500 on an Uber to go from Charleston to Spartanburg.
And why did you do that?
Because I wanted to drink. I wasn't ready to stop drinking. And about a week later, it took me finally realizing that I was going to die from this. My sister had to actually break into my apartment, come in there, and just look in her eyes. I think she was scared she was going to walk in and find me dead. I've got great family, just so supportive. A lot of this stuff I couldn't have done on my own, and I haven't been judged from them, and that's what a lot of people face when they're struggling with this is family judging them, friends judging them. But I've had a great support system, great friends. You know,
Now, were they not? Was that support system not there the first time, or I mean?
yes, it was there. It was just I wasn't ready to stop drinking. Like I said, when that relationship fell through, I went back to the only thing I knew how to do
To make yourself feel better.
to make myself feel better.
Wow. Wow. Let me let's get a woman's point of view
Okay.
here. Yeah, I don't know why everything is one ear. I probably restart it and start it back up.
Hello.
Hey, Michelle Hutton, it's Tom Mabe with the special guest Brian Biggerstaff. How are you? Hello?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I've been in and out of the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry. And you're live, by the way, just so you know.
Oh,
So,
well, hello, everybody. I've missed everybody at Sober Talk. I've been listening a little bit tonight.
yeah, we have Brian in studio, and he this time he went to rehab, and it was in South Carolina,
Yes.
and
Okay.
he was telling the story about he detox 4 times,
Okay.
rehab 3 times, and a romance during one of the detox visits that didn't pan out. You ever experienced that in your drinking recovery or anything? Alcohol, drugs, or anything?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if you remember if I did your Veterans Day special, but
Oh, yeah,
I did, when I hit my rock bottom, I Baker acted myself. It's kind of like a 5150 in California.
Mm-hmm.
And then the police escorted me to the emergency room, and I actually got turned down the first time. The doctor basically told me, since I didn't have proof of payment, go home and get high and then come back the next day.
Yeah, we were just talking about
Wow.
that with the detoxes. Don't stop drinking or using
Right.
until you're in here because we don't want you having wow.
Right.
I found
Well,
that amazing.
especially because if you're doing alcohol and benzos, you especially can't stop because you can die
That's
right
right.
away.
That's right.
Because your body has built up such a tolerance. So you definitely need to be medically detoxed off of, especially alcohol and benzos, because your body has been taking them for so long, and the doctors really need to medically detox you off those. I was an alcoholic and addict, so
Gotcha, yeah.
so the alcohol fed my drug addiction, and the drug addiction fed my alcoholism. And so I was a one and done. I did the detox in the hospital one time, and then I had a lot of problems with the law. I never even had a record until I got out of the military.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of like all the stuff happens in the military, and you don't really think about it until you have time to get out and decompress. And then my life just went into shambles, and I just fell apart and just drank all I could and abused all I could until I was like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? I'm a decorated soldier, and here I am, like, living on the streets, living in the woods, sleeping under bridges, and trying to get drunk and get high. Like, what am I doing? This is crazy.
Brian, you were saying that the first time you got out of Brian, after he got out of detox, or that he didn't work any kind of program. He just kind of.
I didn't either. I didn't per se do the 12 steps.
Okay.
I had to do NA meetings because I was in drug court, you know, because I got a felony, but
Right.
luckily drug court took that felony away. But like, whatever, I'm not sure, and I know some people may be mad, but I don't know which step it is that you do for others. Which step is that?
That's 12,
That you give back?
like a service,
Okay,
right?
so, right. So my service, it I do for other people in different ways. Like, I just had a friend who got out of prison, and he was with me in Iraq, so I tried to help him out. And like, I try to help people out that I see that I can help. That's good for my sobriety. So
Yeah.
it doesn't jeopardize my sobriety. But I won't help someone that's fresh, like still using and want to get clean. I can't help someone like that because they won't help themselves.
We were just
And
talking
we
about
talked-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
we were just,
and we
yeah.
talked about that. We've talked about that many times, you and
Yeah.
I have,
Yes.
that we can't help you unless you're willing to take that first step.
Yeah, and that's,
Unless-
yeah, and we have people on the wall who's like, he just cares about himself and, and this and that, and like, you've been here for 4 months and you haven't.
You're actually, people on the wall that write that Tom Mabe doesn't care only about crap, because if you only cared about yourself, Tom Mabe, you wouldn't be sitting here for 100 and something days being sober and doing this show every night. That's a selfless service that you're doing.
Yeah, it's, yeah, it was.
So you're doing
like,
that for people.
Oh,
And
well, I'm
Brian
doing
is
it for-
sitting there
Yeah, I'm doing it, and Brian drove
and he's also doing this for people listening.
states away. He
So-
drove states away to get here. So,
Exactly.
well,
So-
Michelle,
so-
go ahead.
Yeah, so people saying that you're selfish and only doing this for yourself, that's them talking in their addict personality and their alcoholic personality. And
Yes,
so
that's the
they're
addiction
not
talking.
quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not quite there.
It's like James
But
says,
when
we'll
they
save,
get
we'll save
sober-
a chair for him. We'll save a chair for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than willing to help people that
Mhm.
want to be sober, but when they won't, and that's why I ask people, why do you want to be sober? Like, give me 3 reasons that drives you, that you want to be sober. Because my top reason was I needed my kids in my life.
Yeah.
And that's
Brian,
something that I
too.
didn't have. And we talked about, I went like 6 years without my kids in my
Oh.
life. And good reason, because I wasn't in any shape to have them in my life. And so that was my drive. And so when I talk to people that want to be sober, I'm like, what's your drive? Tell me. And then let me see you take some steps. And then if you can take those first steps, I'm all about helping you.
But yeah, but
I
after a
would
while
love
you
to
got
help you.
yeah, but after a while you got to do tough love and go, come back when you have a month.
Exactly.
month. So
Well,
a lot of
I'm all
people-
about your way of thinking. I'm all about your way
Michelle,
of thinking.
thanks for picking up. It's good to hear your voice, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too, Tom. Have a great night.
All right, you too.
Good talking to you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
So you were
You know, a lot of people, where I lived at while I was drinking and my active addiction, I was always miserable. I wanted to be miserable. I wanted to be angry constantly because I always had an excuse to go back and drink.
and you were telling me too that someone reached out to you that you met in where Michelle's talking about helping people, that you met in maybe one of your stints in a rehab facility, and he said, I need $50 or whatever he was
Right.
saying, and and you gave him, then like a week later,
They're,
you know,
they're
and he-
posting on Facebook a big
their new motorcycle or whatever, yeah.
big shrimp and steak dinner.
Yeah, I don't have any money for food, and you're so it's and I've had people all the time at at the gas station or something asking for money, and you know what, they don't need a gallon of gas, they need drugs,
Right.
and I sometimes I'll give it so they don't rob somebody, because if the craving gets so bad, that guy that you met who needed. The craving was so bad that he hit you up twice.
Yes.
And you told him the second time, you go, no, dude, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Never ask me again. So what are you doing? Tell me about your routine. And right now, you're on a good path. You're working your choices, the AA.
Yes.
So what's your day-to-day like? What's your structure?
For me, my structure is when I wake up in the morning, I pray to God that I can make it through a whole day staying sober. Pray. I'll read some daily devotionals. Uh, you know, just different readings,
Yeah.
and I'll usually reach out to people, and I have people reach out to me, but do meetings every day. Sometimes I'll do 2 meetings a day. I'll go to live meetings, and then I'll do a Zoom meeting.
So you're in the Carolinas, and
Yes.
so they have live meetings going on down there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Zoom guy, and you invited me to one Saturday. I think we have a special show on Saturday here, so I may not be able to go. What time is that Zoom meeting on Saturday?
7 o'clock.
So well, maybe. So a lot of people at home, who want to try out AA and don't really want to go to a physical AA meeting, Google Zoom AA.
Yes.
And do you go to a whole bunch of different types of Zoom AA meetings?
Yes, and that's the thing. Zoom meetings are just like live meetings, and we were talking about this earlier. Is a lot of people will take and go to one meeting, say AA's not for me.
Mhm.
You know, go to multiple meetings because your personality might not mesh with everybody in that meeting.
Well, my
So-
thing too was the 12 steps. And I'm like, okay, powerless alcohol, yeah, check, yeah, blah blah blah. Check. But until you get a sponsor and someone who can really, really explain those steps,
Right, and break it down.
break it down like James. I'm gonna hit James up. I know he's busy, but I think you were saying today in the car.
I think that'd be a good sponsor for you.
We're a good sponsor, and if I could put his name in my car like a NASCAR,
Right.
James.
James.
That's
But,
awesome. This is Bobby Burris. Tom turned me on to those Zoom AA meetings. I love them. Good, Bobby Burris. I'm glad you're there. My feelings towards this is from Rick Green. He says, my feelings toward my brother. I try to get him sober, and I preach to him and show him how great the sober life is, and he just don't want it. He keeps relapsing with excuses after excuse, and he needs to want it. And you do. I didn't want it. You didn't want it. It took you 4 times to want it.
Right. I mean, there's just got to come a point to when you want it for yourself. You don't.
Yeah, you do it for yourself.
You can't do it because you're going to lose your marriage, because you're not going to make it that way. You got to want it for yourself. And there's so many people that, like when I was in rehab,
Mm-hmm.
and you could tell the people that really didn't want to be there. They didn't take it serious. They sleep in, miss group, and it's frustrating when you're in there and you're trying to. I caught myself a couple times almost getting sidetracked in my recovery, worrying about what other people, how they were acting
Mhm.
up, playing around. But
You were playing the rehab cop.
yeah. But finally I realized, that's their sobriety. I'm taking care of myself. And
Right.
and the last time I went to rehab, it was just I had a great counselor. I mean, a wonderful counselor. And we sat down and talked, and she came up with a treatment plan for me. And that's the thing is
A
when
plan.
a
A plan. Yes. Amen. A plan.
So I knew exactly what I needed to work on, and coming up with that treatment plan, it fit me. It was perfect for me.
Right.
So, I mean, I dove into that treatment plan, and I worked it.
Are you obsessed with AA and obsessed with recovery? Is that your new addiction?
No, not really.
'Cause you don't want that to become your life. And I was talking to James about that the other night. There has to be a balance.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of balance, real quick, I do need to give a shout out to my sponsor, guys. It's KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. They're supporting the show, and it helps me. And if you do CBD, please give these guys a shout. It says right here, subscribe to our mailing list. It'll get 15% off your first order. So KYSBestHemp.com. Good product, dog treats, everything. So what's your next step? You say 7 months?
Yes.
Yeah. 7 months. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Are you making things right with your family?
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, let's talk about your family and their new family, if that makes sense.
Okay. I grew up in a family that their alcohol wasn't in the house.
Okay.
We went to church on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday. But alcohol was never around, and I never drank alcohol until I graduated high school. So when I started drinking like I was, my parents, I got great parents. They supported me, but they would call me out on it. And
Okay.
I would be on the phone with my mom, her telling me, you need to stop drinking. I would take and get in an argument with my mom while I'm sitting there pouring a shot of liquor, fussing that I'm not drinking.
Oh.
I'm sick of you saying this. And
Oh.
I mean, just angry. And that was always what gave it away for me was when I would take and lash out.
Yeah, yell at your kids. What are you talking? No.
Right.
I called mom. What you know? It's Can we talk about your kid's new family kind of a thing? Your stepdad kind of a guy?
Yes.
That was when you said that. I was like, God, that over lunch you said, and that I was so proud of you for saying that.
You know, me and my ex-wife, we went separate ways, and the guy that she had met, and she's married to him now.
Okay.
He stepped in as a father when I was for the past 5 years because I wasn't much of a father for my kids at
Okay.
all. And at first I was so angry with him because, and this was the disease talking, that he had broke up our family. He had ended everything that made me happy. But while I was going down
The path.
the path,
Yeah.
he was stepping in, being a good stepfather. He was a better father to him than I was. And
How did that make you feel?
well,
To actually, I was like proud of you, but I know that when you saw that, it had to crush you to go, wow, this guy's actually a better. And a lot of people on the show don't have custody of their kids. Michelle says she didn't see her kids for 6 years.
right,
All because drugs and alcohol.
hey, right. This
'Cause-
disease, we choose this over
And there's
family.
a cure for it. Otherwise, it's stage 4 cancer. It's going to kill you. It's going to ruin your life. It's
Right.
going to rob you of any potential for, of a good family, a good marriage, a good business. It just sucks.
You know, and I've said this in the past. How can somebody pick drugs or alcohol over their kids? And I done it, and I know how it is. It's because of this obsession
Okay.
that we have. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just the disease that we have.
Yeah. It's let's try to call this person here real quick. Let's see if
Okay.
this, I don't know why my phone is a mono. It didn't do this the other day. I don't even know if this person is even around or can pick up or anything, but we're going to call. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Doug, it's Tom Mabe and Brian Biggerstaff calling live from Sober Talk. This is your
I'm
friend.
watching you guys.
This is your friend Doug.
Doug,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that weird? Should I hang up on him?
no.
Is it, oh, good. I didn't
No,
tell you.
I'm
I
still
didn't.
here. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm
So-
good.
So, are you in the program too, Doug?
I am. Very similar to Brian. I go to a meeting every day at noon.
Okay.
It really provides a lot of structure to me. And then similar to Brian, we Wednesdays, Saturdays, and usually there's one other meeting where Brian and I talk, one or the other. But yeah, exactly. And our common connection is Waypoint, that rehab facility.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And you guys know, is this a friend of yours, Lori Linzer, on the page here? So Brian does service work by heading 2 meetings a week with him, Waypoint alumni. So
Right.
yeah.
I want to give you a little history on Brian. So 'cause
Oh Lord.
he won't talk about himself.
Okay.
Hang up on him.
When he was at Waypoint, we had this thing called a process group, and it was usually 3 hours a day. Brian pretty much led it, and it was obvious to most people there that when he came out of Waypoint, this was the last time he was at Waypoint. He was going to be practicing the 12th step, and I think Brian lives in the 12th step, servicing others and helping them. He's very humble, but he's also very gracious in giving, information and not judging. He leads both those meetings with Waypoint alumni, and he does a great job. I mean, he really does.
Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And are you like, I guess, 7 months in too? Did you guys go to rehab?
Yes, sir. Brian and I are almost the exact same time because we were there together for about 2 weeks. Brian left before I did, but yeah.
Yeah. And you guys, you just manned up. You go, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere and get help from some people who know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
Well,
or at least Brian did. You were probably drugged in by the court. What happened with you, Doug?
No, I'm an alcoholic too, but mine was a little different tale than Brian's in that I'd gone to detox twice. The only time I ever went to detox voluntarily was the third time. And the first 2 times the doctor admitted me for 8 nights at, the detox I went to was like jail. And then second time my brother-in-law admitted me. And the third time I went by myself, I think I was on the second. I was calling my wife and basically saying, I'm going to walk out of here tomorrow and I don't care. And she said, oh, insurance got to pay for, you're going to pay all of it now, not insurance. I don't care. I'm walking out of here. But I had to do that to get to Waypoint, the 30-day rehab. And it was well worth it.
So you walked out of detox.
I stuck it out.
Okay.
For 8 nights. I did 2.
What's 8 nights? What was it? Did you have I mean, nowadays, if you got Medicaid or some kind of insurance, you can go to a private facility, or you don't really. They wean you off. You sleep a lot. You don't have the Ray Charles like that movies where you're shaking and throwing up and everything.
Well.
Or did you?
Well, it's a combination, honestly, because the third time when I went in voluntarily, they hit me hard with the drugs to knock me down or make me, lethargic. And so my wife came in to visit. She's like, "Oh my God, y'all made him worse than he is."
Oh, jeez.
But that was only for a couple of days, and then I got better. And then, I mean, you stay there for 8 nights in general. I did anyway, 3 different times. To get off of the alcohol, get out of your system.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it does. But they do have classes and all that good stuff. But anyway, and then hopefully you have an opportunity. That's what you got.
Yeah.
You got an opportunity.
You got the fuss. You got the fuss of I need a drink or I need some drugs. You get that out of your system, so you're not jonesing. So now you can think a little clearer and go. But I would say, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to fix me now. But that's where people mess up. They don't. They go, oh yeah, I'm detox, and they'll go a month or 2, and they'll start back again.
Or you can enter, like a lot of times you'll come out of detox and go to an IOP, intensive outpatient for 30 days. And that's if you're still working, because you can't, sometimes it's not easy to get to a 30-day rehab.
Right. Right.
No,
yeah, right. But nowadays, like Brian said at the top of the show, employers are finally recognizing this as being. We had a guy that we hooked up with James facility, RAC, and the concern was that the individual was like, my job, and he's a professional person, and he went in and told them, and they were like totally supportive, and he still gets a portion of his pay. There's some kind of his state. You're still, so it's not all gloom and doom, and it's not, I really want to take the stigma away from getting help for drugs and alcohol.
Well, the stigma also is the shame of saying I went to rehab. We're such prideful people that we don't want our friends and family and everybody to know we've been in rehab because we're going to look weak.
Yeah, or and companies and businesses look at you. You can't get there's a lot of weirdness. But I tell you what, if I fall off the rails, I'm going to RAC. It's right down the road.
Yeah.
Wife comes bring me sandwiches.
When Doug first came to rehab, I remember the first day he got there. I guess in detox they don't let you shave because he looked like a hobo.
No, they-
I felt so sorry for him. I said, "There's nobody gonna talk to this man. I've got to go talk to him." So, but he finally got
That's
to
right.
shave and he looked clean cut again.
Didn't look like the Unabomber.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ted
I-
Kaczynski is in
You
rehab.
come out of detox, you're feeling pretty rough.
Yes.
I mean, one thing, the detox I went to, you not only lost your alcohol, but you couldn't smoke or anything else either. And that's kind of tough, too.
Well, Doug, thanks for
So-
picking up, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Good
All right,
talking
thank
to you,
you.
Doug.
So,
Bye.
Joe Harris says, I'm glad you're here. Brown and Doug are, Lori, Brown and Doug are great support. Jack, I don't know what, and then Heather Abrams says, hi, Brian. And Kenny Rice says, I'm late, but good group of folks tonight, man. This is, I'm so glad. Need guest, you know that, and you live in, I live in Kentucky. You live several states away.
Yes.
Wow, thank you for doing this.
Man, I love it. It's been great.
So let's wrap up. What else? So you had some really, you thought you got drunk. Well, if you're just now joining us, it started out, it didn't start out, but his story that he told me, so he took an Uber home from a bar and he was so drunk, the Uber dropped him off at the wrong house. He tried to get in the house. He got third-degree burglary, went to jail for 11 days, and with 4 months with a bracelet on your thing, finally got back to drinking again.
Yes.
And then you went to a rehab facility, and it didn't stick that time either, did it?
No, didn't work the program.
Didn't work the program. So guys, when you detox, just don't go, oh, I'm cured, I'm clean. You can't do that. You have to work the program.
You've got to work some kind of program.
Yeah.
And
Some kind of structure, like our regular Carl says. He said, yeah, you got to have some kind of structure, meeting or something. And if you don't like AA, and I promise you, if you go to AA and go, I need a sponsor, and have someone explain those steps, it's just not words. I mean, like, wow. James, Sweezy boy, he has videos on that. We're gonna start posting on Sober Talk of he goes through each step.
yes.
I'm like, damn, he just laid something heavy on me. He was talking about the 10th step, and like, wow, I didn't get it that way. So it's just not reading. And, okay, I'm going to read it. You have to work. They help thousands and thousands of people. So if AA is your, I would suggest anyone to try it, but get some kind of structure, something. There's books, there's a rational recovery. There's all different types of things.
Yeah, there's more programs out there than just AA. Celebrate Recovery, Rational Recovery. I mean, there's
Sober Talk.
Sober Talk.
Sober Talk.
But I mean,
don't depend on me to get sober. Hey, you want a drink? I'll make you a drink. I drink vicariously through people now.
But the main thing is to realize that you can't do it on your own.
Well, you know what James said? He said if you buy a motorcycle, you don't sit it in your front driveway and let it sit there. You go buy the leather pants, the boots, you find bike night.
Right.
You find people. So I think groups of people help out when you can find a recovery group of some sort. And try the Zoom.
And that's the thing is, it's so much easier to talk to an alcoholic or an addict that's been through it because they understand. Yeah, it's good to have family to be able to talk to and lean on, but when you can sit and talk with someone that's been through the same thing you've been through,
Yeah.
it helps because you doing Sober Talk is actually helping your recovery.
Oh yeah, it's more selfish. It's not a selfless act yet.
And that's
Michelle was saying, it's all about me.
That's what it is. It's service work, and
Yeah.
and we need people that's brand new in recovery. We need them as much as they need
Oh
us.
yeah, and that's the thing about when first saw the show, he's like, well, no, you need to ramp up your knowledge before you start. Oh, no, you're missing the whole point of the show. And he goes, oh, yeah, great. I said, I'm just some dude.
Right.
I don't have 25 years of sobriety under my belt. I'm pushing 6 months, and that could restart any minute. It's just, and this is a group of people, and this is a group of people here that we definitely, it helps me.
And that's like I told you today is I've never went to a meeting that I didn't get just
a little bit of nugget,
little,
something.
little. out of it. And
Mhm.
that's the same way with this sober talk. Every time I watch it, I get something out of it. So,
Yeah.
you know, I hope this has helped someone tonight.
Oh no, we're getting ready. We're gonna call. We end every show with this guy here, and he was paying your he was really he was texting me saying, "Oh my gosh, this guy's real. This is a real deal." So,
Hello.
hey brother, how you doing?
Hey, Tom Mabe, I'm doing good. I'm out on trying to turn my iPad off here.
Yeah, just throw it out the window. Put a pillow over it.
Whoa,
So
whoa.
this is Carl Martin. Carl is a founding member of Sober Talk. And guys, please check out that private group. Everything's free. It's a private group, and there's a lot of knowledge. Are you in the private group on Sober
Yeah.
Talk? Yeah, so there's a lot of knowledge on there, and a lot of people.
And you can post stuff your own self, something that, even a little saying, I posted something today, and, somebody might get something out of that.
No, and I
It's
see
good
that.
to finally hear from you, Carl.
How you
Yeah, well, same here, Brian. The thing is, I just listening and watching you, and I was driving down the road, listening
Multitasking.
and trying to figure out how to make a comment, but your honesty and your authenticity, Brian, is absolutely incredible. See, it's very difficult for me to get on any type of talk show and lie because I realize I may easily forget what I just lied about.
Yeah, they
But
get caught in it later on.
Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes later, he just said this or that. But no, really, I think it is so helpful, man. When other people get to hear the reality, the stories that, hey, yeah, man, I went to rehab and 2 days, that was it. I
Yeah.
paid $500 for Uber.
Yeah.
Partner, yeah, that's pretty amazing right there. Just because you wanted to drink. Wow.
And Tom, you need to go ahead and let folks know you get paid $4,000 a show.
I do.
I mean,
I got a grant
Oh.
from. It's called the Carl Martin Grant, and Carl paid me $4,000 an episode, and that's why I'm getting up in the middle of the show to go press a button in the other room.
I only got 50 to drive all the way up here.
Yeah, you might want to hold another check till like July. That'd be.
No, it really is great, man. And this program and Tom, I truly believe, and Brian, I bet you believe as well that Tom's going to keep this going because it's a passion and a calling, and sure it helps himself, but that's not really why he keeps doing this, and I'm just grateful. This does give me structure at night. I mean, it's just a fantastic way to connect, and I've connected with 3 or 4 people on an individual basis through this
Carl's
program.
got like 3 girlfriends from Sober Talk. Don't tell Pam.
Oh,
I'm teasing.
Verizon just doesn't have
Wrong number. Hey.
Wrong girl.
Hold on, I want to read this real quick. This is from Kalea. She says, Brian is lucky. I lived on the West Coast where a drunk guy came into the wrong house, made his way upstairs to a locked bedroom, beating on the door. The homeowners in the bedroom were terrified, and when the guy broke the door open, the husband shot and killed him.
Oh,
my
I told
gosh.
people. I mean, I'm lucky that I didn't get killed that night. So.
You really are. You really are. Well, Carl, good to hear your voice. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah, thanks for all y'all do, okay?
All right, buddy.
Bye, Carl.
All right, good night, y'all.
You gotta have Carl on, especially you come all the way this way. You gotta talk with Carl. Well, guys, it's been great. Is there anything you want to wrap up with, or anything, or is there any last words of wisdoms, or something to shout out, or anything that you need to do?
The only thing is, if you're struggling out there, struggling tonight, reach out to someone.
Email me.
And if you want to talk with me, email Tom. He's got my phone number.
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk.
I could put you in. A lot of people want to borrow. If you're loaning money like that, I get your number
Yeah.
out there. No, and it is, and and it's like there's or James who comes in, and although he owns a facility, he'll find out where do you live, and he'll make recommendations for that guy's state. Try this out, or you're on Medicaid. Well, this is where go to this one. So we do have a plethora of knowledge and help with the group. It doesn't necessarily come from me, but if you reach, put you in touch with folks like Brian and Carl and James Sweezy. So it's all good. Well, guys, it's been great. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Sober Talk. And do me a favor, if you do buy CBD, check these guys out. It's KYSBestHemp.com. It helps the show out because Carl's not paying me $4,000 an episode. But KYSBestHemp.com. And at the bottom of the screen, it says if you subscribe to their mailing list, take 15% off your first order. All right, guys, we love you. See you soon. So much better when I'm done. I get so antsy prior to it, and I'm like,